Jeff Peterson from Heartland Farm Partners is our market analyst this week. The latest crop progress report shows U.S. farmers are halfway home with soybean harvest at 53% complete. That's still 13 points behind the nation's 5-year average, but better than the sluggish pace of corn harvest. The top 18 producing states have brought in only 31% of their corn, 22 points off the average. Nebraska's growers have harvested 69% of their soybeans and 28% of their corn. Jeff joined us Friday morning to look at those two markets. Give me an update on what we're seeing for both harvest and yield across the country and in Nebraska.
Yeah, this has been an interesting year, Jeff. You know, we've really got going in the Western Corn Belt. Eastern Corn Belt's been lagging. As we come into Monday, we think we'll nationally a little over 40% harvested in corn. It could be as high as 45%. Beans look like they could slide over 70%, so I mean it's on the home stretch now.
And in Nebraska?
Yeah, as we slip into Nebraska, boy, that's a lot more variable. If you're south of I-80, you've got most of those areas. If you're in the south central part of the state, you're probably wrapping up with beans and you're probably well into corn. Go up into northeast Nebraska and the farther north in the state, you know, they're well into the beans, probably, you know, 2/3. Still a ways to go on the corn yet. A lot of that corn's still wet out there.
Recap for me the movement we saw in both corn and bean markets this week.
Yeah, this has been an interesting week. Not really what we expected. If you kind of come back and think about first in the soybean market, because that's really what's given everything the strength. Been a continued concern about dry conditions in Mato Grosso in Brazil, but it looks like we're in the process of seeing a change down there. So I think we're going to start seeing some more moisture come in. But in addition to that, when we slowed up harvest in the Eastern Corn Belt, what that did is that slowed up the movement of soybeans going into the crush plants. There's been a tremendous demand for soybean meal. Soybean meal caught a bid, went much, much higher, and as a result, that gave everybody who, you know, was short some soybeans, it made them want to go ahead and buy back those beans, and that gave us a lot of strength in the bean pit.
Record crops in both corn and beans. Describe for me where you think ending stocks are going to be both now, but in 2015, 2016 as well.
Yeah, you know, as we first start off in the 2014, you know, our thoughts from here is that we're going to see yields increase and come up higher, which in the end means our ending stocks are going to come higher on both the soybeans and also in the corn. Wouldn't surprise me for us to get back up to that 475, maybe an outside chance of 500 million bushel carry out on soybeans. Over on the corn, you know, 2.1 to 2.2 billion bushels I think possible, but as we turn the calendar, and we start thinking about the 2015 crop, that's when it gets to be a lot tougher. Jeff, as we look at some of the acreage numbers out there and as we're hearing the farmers talk about it, sure seems like there's going to be quite a few beans out there next year.
Do you expect further yield increases in the November crop report?
Yeah, we do. Main reason for that is that we continue to hear from our customers and also from others farmers across the U.S. that the yields are coming in and they're staying strong. But one of our other reasons is that in the latest NASS user data group meeting, they stated that in the October report, they didn't have all of their yield plots harvested. So as a result, what they were doing is they were filling in some of those numbers with some historical averages. And as a result, we think that still gives us room to see a higher yield down the road.
I'm going to ask you a two-part question here. The first part is, where are you with selling targets for the current crop of beans? And two, how bearish are you going to get if South American weather is good?
Yeah, and this is where I think the biggest thing we have to think about is that what the progression of this market can be. Right now, everybody's trying to figure out the size of this U.S. crop, not thinking a lot about the 2015 acres or not thinking a lot about what the growing season could be like in Brazil. Back on the 14, you know, we like to be a seller up in this area. You know, this bean market's went a little higher than we thought. We like to sell in here. We're being a little bit patient on corn yet to make any additional sales. As we move out to the 2015, we really like to be 50% sold of corn and beans both. You know, our concern as we go out into the 2015 crop year is these carryout numbers could get really big. If we have the kind of acres that we think we're hearing, you know, it wouldn't be unheard of to think 750 million, 800 million bushels of carryout for the soybeans. Could be as high as 2.5 to 2.7 billion bushels for corn as we go into next year's crop.
When does your siren start going off in Brazil if the weather's really good and it looks like they're going to produce another record crop?
I think right now you got to continue. Right now you have to start that process of watching. There's weather premium. We're trying to sort out. Our research would probably show somewhere between 50 and 75 cents a weather premium in the market right now in soybeans because of the dryness that they've had in Brazil. The market, as they get more comfortable, will start extracting that premium out as we go forward.